the fourth edition of PGW Kwentuhan. Kwentuhan is a conversation on art, creativity, and watercolor. I'm Pinky Peralta at makakasama nyo na naman ako as your date. So how are you mga kasining? I hope you are safe in your homes. And these past few weeks, we've been battered by so many storms. And we've heard that some of our kasinings have been affected by these typhoons. So we dedicate this episode to them, and also we'd like to give thanks to all our kasining who have contributed a lot, did some fundraising, giving off their original works, and even accepted commissions just to help our needy brothers and sisters. Thank you so much. Let's support them by buying and sharing these posts. Last month, we have Sir Yeye as our guest, and we learned a lot from his story. We learned a lot from his watercolor journey, and he imparted to us in the Paint Along workshop about his so many techniques, and I hope you learned a lot last month. And this month, we have our featured artist for November, and nonetheless, that's Emman Silva. And in the previous runs, we have live interview, but that's not just live interview. Towards the middle portion, we will have the critique of the Master Copy Challenge. The Master Copy Challenge is a reproduction of our featured artist work. And a lot of our members contributed so much in this florals. Mukhang popular ang ating florals because so many submitted this November. And later on, stay tuned because you will know of the Master's Choice winner. And we learn a lot from the critic. We will also rejoice with the winner. And this activity will be culminated by a Paint Along workshop. So let's use this November 28th as a Saturday of learning and invite your friends. Please don't miss it. So I would like to grab this opportunity now to thank our sponsors, our partners who have been supporting PGW ever since. Namely Giftbox Inc., Daniel Smith, Neve, and Des Artroom. Thank you so much for these cool prices that you always give PGW and also the discounts that you extend to the members. Thank you. Simulan na natin ang ating kwentuhan with our featured artist this November. Please watch this.
I started painting watercolor way back 2009. When I tried watercolor, kasi I found out that I have to prepare only a few things. You only need paper, and you don't need to set up your canvas. Siguro noong 2015, naging na siyang primary medium ko kasi parang nag-invest na rin ako ng time to study more into watercolor during my free time. So, yun yung pinaka parang break ko to study yung composition and properties of watercolor and also pigments. Yung colors talaga, the paint itself has lured me to parang nakakatuwa kasi siya every time you take a look at the paints. So the learning never stops for me. Every time I get my hands on the paints, I try to study. As an artist, I painted watercolor on traditional subjects in the style of realism. Watercolor painting for me has been a fun way of engaging intellectually about the philosophical aspects of life. What Watercolor for me has been like a roller coaster ride, but it has given me hope, and it's always given me life. When painting watercolor, that is what it is probably to be the most essential thing when you are painting. Or it doesn't have to impress everyone that will watch. You just simply have to make something that gives happiness and value to yourself. The result of your work should be happiness and of course satisfaction by whatever you are doing. Then again, this is Emmanuel Silva. And this month, I'll be teaching you things that I have learned so far as I have been doing watercolor for the last 10 years. Kaya tara, kwentuhan tayo.
Everyone, I am proud to introduce an award-winning exhibiting artist and workshop instructor who is based in Lipa, Batangas, who found in watercolor the objective standards of the masters of old as the medium demands grace, understanding, practice, and thought. Mga kasining, please welcome Mr. Emman Silva.
Maraming salamat po sa inyo and thank you for inviting me to be one of the featured artists this month of November sa ating Kwentuhan series. Salamat po sa ating sponsors, sa lahat po ng nanonood po ngayon, saka sa kay Ma'am Pinky for introducing me and for everyone behind the Kwentuhan series sa Philippine Guild of Watercolorists.
Thank you once again, Emman, for joining us today and for being the 4th featured artist at PGW's Kwentuhan. It's a conversation of art, creativity, and watercolor. Okay, mga kasining, over the past weeks, you've seen the works of Emmanuel Silva, all of these wonderful florals. I am sure you've been wanting to learn from him. And excited na kayo makakwentuhan siya. So let's begin. Sir Emman, we were given a brief background of the subjects you paint, no?
Yes.
And
Yes.
in the video. So ang curiosity namin is, who are your favorite watercolorists, both local and international?
For local artists sa atin po, ito po, kung makikita nyo po, we also share the same subject. It's si Ma'am Karen Sioson. So, she previously headed the IWS Philippines PGW as a president. And she has also taught me na the various trades and aspects for watercolor painting. She's also very technical about watercolor. So most of the things that I know, she has shared me. We do have a lot of exchanges before nung nagtatrabaho pa ako during times gabi. So she has an influence in my work. Also, nandyan po sa atin si Sir Rene Canlas. In a way na he inspired me to participate into yung mga ating mga exhibits and competitions. So siya mismo, nakakausap ko siya. And I feel very proud and happy for him also dahil dun sa mga bagay na nakapagbigay encouragement sa akin as I tried to build my career in as an artist, a professional artist, a full-time professional artist. Nandiyan din po noon si Sir Dito Balaran. He was the first one who also taught me naman on, kasi nung mga nag-start pa po ako ng painting watercolors, he actually told me that you don't have to try very hard to look for particular subjects that you can arrive with dahil wala ka namang materyales or hindi ka naman makapagala kasi po noon I have to work so limited yung time ko para mag-paint. So sabi sa akin kasi noon arrive ka lang ng mga series of works mo na magbibigay ng identity to your to your subjects or work. So he told me na kung kaya ng cellphone mo kumuha, kung ano na yung makikita mo, di yun lang. Yun na yung gamitin mo. And I practically, that's how I got with Sir Lito, how I learned from him. Also with Sir Erwin, he also taught me yung on how to handle with the galleries and with particularly with my style. Ano. For international artists, meron ako talaga nilook upan na somehow hindi naman siya related masyado sa aking ginagawa ngayon. But I saw that amazement sa level ng kanyang mastery of his work. So most probably hindi siya masyadong familiar for most of us. So that would be Stanislaw Zolad. So medyo kilala siya ng ibang artist sa atin. His favorite subjects kasi is mga naturescapes and landscapes, mga rivers, ganun, mga water reflections. Apart from that, pretty much halos marami din naman sa akin. Ay, kung isa-isa natin siguro, masyadong magiging mahaba kung i-discuss ko yung mga ating mga taong I look upon them. I know na personally kasi I would just want to discuss yung mga taong has a deep impact with me in my life as an artist that I personally know.
Yes. Thank you, Emman. So, you learned a lot from these people. Very good indeed. But how did you develop your own style?
That question is actually the hard question to describe in such a short sentence lang. But nung po kasing nag-start ako ng watercolor, I tried to develop my skills and I tried to pursue yung discipline. So, sabi ko kasi noon, I want to make paintings as good as possible with the ability that I have. So, syempre, we know that nung una ko mga works, they are very strict talaga na focus sa hyper-realism. So, a lot of persons, a lot of individuals naman din are very good at it. So, internationally speaking, nung open sa akin nun, itong IWS Philippines, o PGW, parang naging siyang world sa akin to discover a lot of artists. So, doon nag-develop yung appreciation ko sa ibang part ng watercolor, sa character niya, na it's not just about realism. There is a distinct character in watercolor that you can actually see and appreciate compared to other mediums. Kasi if you really want to become as realistic as possible, we have oil and acrylic to paint with, to achieve maximum, siguro in an artistic sense aspect, yung control sa output natin. But watercolor has its life. So yung nagbibigay sa atin ng parang difficulty. And I tried to achieve yung harmony and balance between yung realism and being a watercolor aspect ng painting. I wanted to paint lightly as possible with watercolor and achieve yung desired results na nakikita natin in a traditional way of painting things like realism. So, my choice of how did I develop? My choice was first, naging start ko is yung parang objective standards and then comes the appreciation with watercolor and yung ating parang beauty nung transparent medium. So if you particularly see my works, I have only been toying with the major series first of my works, that is florals. So a lot of persons will see a difference between as I have developed all through the years yung aking style, which is from the very start, which is a very hard realism. And then as I transitioned on, medyo naging siyang smooth that I leverage the property of watercolor. So that's how I developed my style in watercolor. And I try to incorporate talaga yung lightness and the colors and the plane talaga ng wet into wet painting with still falling into category of realism. You will get familiar with my past works. You will see that there is this character of the watercolor that I want to imbue into it. Yun nga yung property ng paint and so on. As I paint, I try to leverage it yung talaga yung style ng watercolor. Not just it is realistic, but it also has watercolor character in it.
Okay. Emman, itong pinapakita ngayon sa video ay parang gumamit ka ng, is that masking fluid, the blue?
Yes, always.
Oh, okay. So you're a fan of masking fluid to protect those things that you wanted to protect.
Yes, pero it depends din naman po sa subject. When it is not necessary, I don't try to sacrifice kasi yung paggamit ng masking fluid because masking fluid is actually very tricky to work with, especially yung output ng ating painting. So, I learned kasi na if you use masking fluid and it is not the subject that is in focus na gusto mong ibigyan ng emphasis, it leaves very sharp edges, saka medyo rough na yung texture ng paper if you want to paint over it.
Okay.
So, wet into wet painting still have to siguro make use of sparingly masking techniques because may mga portions din naman that you cannot simply execute with finesse if you don't use masking fluid. So medyo parang trying to keep balance lang ang work natin as much as possible para hindi natin mag-commit tayo into something that we do not want in the end. So nakikita niyo po sa video, the subjects that I only chose yung mga parang mga tao because since they are the one in focus and sila talaga yung primary na nasa subject ko. So it's okay for them to be in contrast. Pero if I tried to use that all throughout sa painting, siguro mahirapan naman akong i-achieve yung freely flowing waters na nakikita nyo sa ilalim, yung parang sand effect. Kasi it will leave such harsh edge dun sa parang effect ng tubig. So, I tried to balance the thing that between them sa paggamit ng masking and paggawa ng freehand na technique na pag-apply ng paint sa paper natin.
Okay. So I gather that your technique is a balance of the loose and also the more representational or more realistic. So the one you are balancing control and the natural flow of water. So
Yes,
I hope I'm getting it right. So now I'd like to ask, what are your favorite tools of the trade? Those brushes, paints, and paper that you use. Kasi mga kasining natin, inaabangan din yan.
Can I get it para pakita nila?
Oh, sure.
I do have particular meaning na ngayon towards my paint brushes. Sa paper, arch paper has been one of my favorite talaga since I started painting. But I also learned of bawang recently, since I got my hand on it. And it's really a good alternative. Nakakatawa sa kanya yung quality rin ng output when you don't want to yung masyadong punishing techniques like masking. It's really good. So bawang and arch paper, they are one of my parang considerations when it comes to painting, watercolor. And recently, yung aking mga workshops, I did those demonstrations in bawang. And maliit lang yung adjustment actually na kinailangan ko. When it comes naman sa paints and watercolor, ang most ko na ginagamit is I have Daniel Smith and also M. Graham. So, sa ratio ng number of paints, I have a leaning in favor of Daniel Smith sa mga strong colors nila. But for the lighter shades, I have like say Winsor & Newton and M. Graham. Pero most of my colors, the one that you see in the videos, especially the grains in the sand, that is Daniel Smith na Primatech watercolors. So, walang makakapantay sa kanyang granulation and property. So, before yung sand effect, those were achieved using Daniel Smith Primatech watercolor paints. For brushes, since I engage mostly on floral works, I have with me, pakita ko lang, I have yung mga angular brushes from Kalish and also yung Rosemary. They're natural hair. There is also synthetic brands that you can buy for these ones. But the one that I am using right now are natural hair brushes dahil mas maganda para sa akin yung loading ng paint nila. And they are quite soft. why do I favor them? Kasi most of my works that you will also see in the Kwentuhan series are florals. When you want to paint ng medyo fast strokes and have to cut corners, maganda yung tip ng angular brushes because yung point niya pwede mo siyang gamitin for a flower, a petal, and then yung side niya, if you load it, makaka-achieve ka ng lines para sa mga stems. And yung broad body niya na parang flat, pwede mo siyang magamit sa mga parang washes and areas ang blocking ng color. And I also use yung ating mga hockey brushes like mga goat hair for softening yung mga areas ng wet and wet painting sa atin and blending. So, that's one of my um, choices. Okay, I remember si Addison, he also uses exactly the same tools that I have. The difference between us is medyo controlled lang yung akin and he is more on impressionistic side of watercolor painting. But there is, the strokes actually are just parang medyo may similarity between kung paano kami mag-apply ng paint sa aming watercolor.
So, for me, sinabi ka about goat's hair, yung malaking brush mo, yung
Yes po,
pinakahuli.
yes.
Do you
Yes
do
po.
you try to apply it pag medyo towards dry na or basa pa?
Actually, ang purpose ko po talaga dito is dry application of paint. I never have particularly used this one sa mga pieces ko na talagang applying color. I use this one for blending a wet into wet background. So dry ko siya ginagamit. And sa ating magiging siguro pong kwentuhan, I can demonstrate on how I use this particular brush to achieve that effect po. Ano po? So this one holds a special place and I like to use this one dry talaga. Para siyang light application ng mga makeup. So hindi ko talaga siya ng wet siya. Mas
Okay.
purposeful siya sa akin na tuyo siya kaysa siya gagamitin pang block ng kulay ng pang-load ng paint.
Okay. So let's
I
watch
have
for that demo. So about inspirations, Emman, where do you get your inspiration?
ang primary inspiration ko lang naman po sa work ko is nature itself eh. And kung ano yung nasa ating environment. It takes a lot of parang discipline minsan to come up with the work, but also inspiration plays a part in that. Um, I think is if you are an artist, you really have the eye for simple things that you will see that hindi napapansin ng iba. So when I painted yung ating na mga mga florals ko, they were just something that were simply around sa paligid natin when I started. So you wouldn't even notice them if you're the kind of person who's always siguro medyo busy with everyday things. Nature itself has provided me with a lot of resources, especially yung mga recent series ko. They're still nature. They are landscapes. They are ordinary things that yung fleeting beauty behind things that only uh, stays long for a couple of days, such as flowers, yung mga florals natin. And they are actually, you know what, I find them to be parang something that you wonder and ponder upon kapag nakakita mo. Gives a relief to your mind, especially on those busy days nung ako ay hindi pa full-time artist. So I work and they are my inspiration. That the things that I see around them, you know, those simple things that you can rest your mind upon and parang just appreciate the beauty itself.
So, Emman, when I look at your florals, para bang mas maganda pa siya sa totoong buhay. Parang sobrang high resolution yung iyong rendition of these flowers. So, my question is, how is photography on your end helping in this exercise of yours on depicting your flowers? Or does it?
Yes, actually, I'm also a photographer po by heart. And syempre, inaral ko din po yung aspects. photography is also an art in itself and also shares the same values with respect to painting. The thing is, sa photography kasi, there are instances like this, a fleeting beauty that you cannot simply capture ng on the spot because sometimes you may be limited to your location and that is where photography comes into play. Kasi minsan yung mga photographs ko of the florals that I work with are not from where I live and I cannot, syempre, sometimes I do have to ask permission. Can I take a photo of this? Kasi minsan may mga bakuran ng may-ari na kinukuha ko ng florals na hindi naman sa aking plant mismo. And then they say, okay, sige, pwede. Ganon. They even help me sometimes with bladders. I remember that moment nung siguro may hinirangan ako, pwede ko bang kunan po ito ng larawan? Sure, then they even offered me a ladder to climb up and get a photo of that, yung rose na yon. So, photography, it's good when you want to capture the fleeting moments of things, especially sa ating environment, and you are not able to work on the same location. The convenience kasi if working in a studio is you can also focus more on the aspect of the painting process itself. The difference siguro kaya nasasabi natin po na natutuwa sila nakikita yung work ko and as you have remarked na parang they are lifelike is the choice of watercolor itself, the paint itself. Because photography is parang merong exaggeration of the colors when it comes to photography. But when you come into watercolor painting, there is a naturalization of the aspect that you see with your eyes, with the paper. Ang replication kasi ng watercolor is the pulp or the paper itself is white and it is also a plant material in itself. So it brings life to the petals, the leaves, the colors that you put into it because meron siyang, they share the same bond that they come from the same subjects itself. So yung luminosity ng colors, yung kung paano natin siya makikita, by itself, parang they give way more natural look, blend ng natural, saka yung effectively parang namimimik niya talaga yung colors on how we see it in with our own eyes. Kaya mas appreciate siguro karamihan yung watercolor paintings of florals despite that you can print a photograph of florals with more detail. There is the character, there is beauty with the paint, the colors that I use. And I specifically study the florals that I do before I use or choose kung anong kulay ang gagamitin ko, which kung siguro yung magre-replicate exactly kung ano yung kulay nung floral na nakikita ko. So, I parang tinetest ko siya, as you've seen the footage before, kung ano yung color that would fit the need for particular subject na I want to portray. So, it also comes to a study. Photography is a wonderful tool. They both work hand in hand and they also give you the freedom in your time to work on a studio. But nonetheless, watercolor still has its own discipline and also its own parang um, on its own parang things that you need to do so that you can enjoy yung painting ng watercolor. They share same things but they are different tools to achieve one thing that the artist wants. That is yung ating the art itself, the obra itself.
Mhm. Thank you. So, looking at your florals right now, I wonder what kind of patience do you need to have in order to produce that kind of flora? Gaano ka katagal gumawa ng isang painting? Example, ito, kalachuchi.
For that one, siguro ano yan, combined total hours ko siguro dyan, mga mahigit 40 hours.
40
But that is divided on a span of several days kasi meron din naman ako ibang mga bagay na ginagawa during the day that I also need attention that is related to my profession. Siguro yung mga photography and I also do some travels gagala-gala ako sa paligid to get subjects. I tend to work on the night. So, this one is siguro mga more than, this is like 46 or 47 hours divided into several days that would span about 2 weeks. So, ganun katagal for a particular painting. But, nung nag-umpisa ako, mas matagal pa. Siguro dahil with experience and syempre mastery, nagkakaroon ka ng way kung nade-develop yung certain ng workflow mo that gives yung pinakamagandang o pinaka-efficient way on how to paint something. So, napapabilis naman siya for napapabilis naman yung work ko for sorry.
May
Someone's
phone
calling.
industry kaya yata dyan.
Sorry po so napapa-improve yung work ko ng experience. So for this one particular one, it's like something like 2 weeks ang work natin nito. And that gives us yung by experience kasi yung freedom to work for a particular piece. For small ones, medyo kaya siya siguro ng 3 days or 4 days for medyo maliliit lang. Pero yung malalaki kasi, ang difficulty niya is sometimes I also time it kung kailan maganda yung panahon at malamig, umuulan. Especially if you want to paint wet into wet. Kasi nga, kailangan mo yung smooth flow of colors. At kapag mainit ang panahon, mahirap siyang i-achieve kasi madali siyang matuyo sa papel. So, yun. Ganun po.
Okay, mukhang perfection talaga to So, I wanted to ask you any advice that you would give to aspiring watercolorists who would want to perfect the mastery of their craft, your journey.
Para sa akin naman po kasi isa lang naman yung aking advice like the way that I shared with my videos before na when you're happy with something, don't frustrate yourself over something na you know that are giving you parang it's not giving you happiness or yung fun or enjoyment. Enjoy mo sarili mo with the process and learning will come with you. The first purpose why you are doing art is for you to be happy with what you are doing, with the process and with the output. There's no reason for you to frustrate yourself na bakit hindi ko ma-achieve yung mga work ng ibang ganito. You're trying to compare yourself with someone with have a lots of experience before you. The way for you to achieve that is to never be frustrated because kaya nag-stop yung iba in their pursuit of watercolor painting kahit sa ibang disciplines because they see na napakalayo ng kanila sarili dun sa ibang work ng iba. But the reality is you just have to enjoy your the painting process, the learnings. You will get a lot of learnings. You will make mistakes every now and then when it comes to watercolor because it is really difficult medium. In a sense that you cannot control every aspect of watercolor. The most important is enjoy yourself and enjoy working with the subjects that you find appreciation and interest. Pag combine mo siya and the learnings you build upon those, you'll be able to build into the future. Makikita mo ang improvement. Don't frustrate yourselves with something you cannot achieve for now. We all had that before. I had those days before me. And I know that one of these days, makakuha mo rin yung gusto mong makuha. It is something that you cannot do overnight in over a short period of time. Yun po kasi yung watercolor. It is, and when it also comes to art, some people think that, yes, maybe, merong part yung some people have been born into it. Meron talagang skill sa pagpipinta. Pero it is also a developed skill din. Painting is also a developed skill. And you will only develop that if you have the consistency. That's the most important part. Consistency is the key to everything.
Thank you, Emman. Well said. So, mga kasining, kailangan tayong wag give up. Maganda yung lesson na binibigay sa atin ni Emman na just keep on painting and be consistent with it. Darating din yan. So, Emman, ano ang pwede naming i-expect sa iyong paint-along workshop this coming November 28th?
What they can expect is I'll try to give my best to teach them things that they might be able to apply to their work. Yun naman po yung goal ko is just impart the knowledge that I have learned through various experimentation and yung learnings, discovery from other artists before me. And I will, siguro ang purpose kasi ng workshop nito is to spare you the time and trouble to finding it out yourself. Because by myself, yung ibang artists din po before me had done that. Yung time and then yung frustration, workshops will give you that kind of a thing. The knowledge that the artists have gained, they will spare you the trouble of looking for the right things to do certain outputs na and that and also style and also the approaches. I would be giving you po yung aking mga natutunan all throughout the years with my knowledge on painting flora. So, um, I do hope na ma-enjoy nila yung process. I don't mean that you should, after this workshop, that you should be able to paint like me. I don't expect that. But I would be giving you that, napapabaan ko na lang sa kanila yung aking mga natutunan beforehand through the years of painting po. Yun po ang aking siguro as an instructor before me, yun po talaga ang aking goal in mind when I do um, hold lessons like this and workshops like this po.
Thank
Yung
you.
knowledge. Yes.
So, in terms of materials, what materials naman do they need to prepare for your workshop?
So, for materials po, maganda sana kung meron din sila nitong mga angular brushes. But I don't actually recommend na maghanap sila kung hindi naman sila makakita. Pwede na rin dito yung mga flat brushes. Because they also produce the same kind of thing. Round brushes, if pwede din naman siya. It's a multi-purpose tool that you can use. Round brushes, pwedeng-pwede po yun. And yung hockey, especially yung mga flat brushes in wood or any kung medyo may ferrule kayo, like this one, nickel-plated, pwede po yan, flat brush. And the paper that you would need. You can use bauhong or yung ating arch paper if you have one. That's really good paper po. You don't need masking. We won't be including that for now. Since masking technique has to be, medyo matagal po kasi yung process na yun. Well, I'm going just to teach you yung ating talagang with the basic tools that you can work upon or maybe adapt to your own style of painting. Yun po. For the colors, you can see, siguro po in your screen, my favorite choices are yung Viridian or yung Telocyane green, yung kinakridong burnt orange from Daniel Smith. For other brands, siguro ibang pangalan niya. Burnt umber, I also use maroons and kinakridong red and kinakridong rose. And meron din ako ng ultramarine colors. So, for my florals, halos kadalasan yan po yung ginagamit kong colors when I come to subjects like yung mga roses and botanicals po.
Thank you, Emman. So, thank you for sharing your materials. And how about the kind of preparation that they need to do before they meet you on November 28th? Kailangan ba sila mag-practice?
For preparation naman, they don't really need to mount yung works kasi iba nag-stretch sila ng paper, no? Pwedeng hindi nyo stretch, but if you want, you can also do that kung mas comfortable kayo doon. I would release soon yung ating magiging reference for particular class natin. They can prepare yung drawings ahead of time. Simple lang naman yung drawing natin. Hindi ko sila pahihirapan ng subject na napakahirap gawin. Ano po? But aside from that, wala naman po masyadong preparation na kailangan na siguro na aside from the materials that I have discussed.
Thank you. All right. So I guess kailangan natin na mga kasining mag-register November 28, Saturday, para tayo ay makapag-paint along with the master himself. So naka-post po ngayon sa screen ang registration fees, and I hope you can register as early as possible so you can prepare the materials. All right? There you have it, guys, our Kwentuhan with Mr. Emman Silva. We hope that his journey has inspired you to paint and to explore your own direction in this passion of yours. And I hope to see you on November 28th for the Paint Along session. Okay? So it's posted now, so you can see the link. So now we are into the most exciting part of our session, and that is when Emman critiques the works of the participants. So take it away.
So I really like po this particular piece. In a sense that kita ko sa kanya na this one has a deep knowledge na about the fundamentals of watercolor, yung wet into wet painting, yung edge, saka yung color harmony. Alam niyo yung mga choices of kanyang colors. For me lang, ang gusto ko lang makita sa work na to na madagdag sa kanya, yung contrast sa stems, sa particular piece na to. But overall, napaka-ayos ng execution niya dito. And I really like the way that this one has turned out for this one, pagkakagawa niya. Yung symmetry niya nandun din. This, what can I say, this one, for a muted color palette ng background, this one has an appeal for me, a deep appeal for me, yung kanyang pagkakagawa ng background. What I want for this one is yung siguro yung emphasis dun sa dahon na nawala because of yung contrast sa background. And since yung ating floral yung naging parang medyo main point ng piece na to, nawalan siya ng something to show yung parang yung mga dahon. So I think pwede pa naman siyang dagdagan ng a bit more contrast in the bottom part para mag-cut out ng edges for the leaves. Parang something like a negative painting. But for this one, this is pretty good po yung pagkaka-execute niya this one. Especially yung gitna ng bulaklak and yung richness nung mga petals niya. Maganda talaga yung pagkakagawa ng kanyang sa bulaklak dito sa rose na to. I like how she executed this one. In fact, I like how the petals turned out for this one. Yun lang po yung nakita kong area for improvement for this particular piece. Overall, I'm also happy for the artist who did this one, and I know that she gave her best for this painting po. Ano po. So, yun lang naman po. Dito rin, I want to see yung contrast with the background to the subject. Siguro natakot siya sa pag-apply ng strong color para magkaroon ng contrast. Since ang bulaklak po kasi natin, ito yung lightest valued part ng ating painting. Sa watercolor kasi, I want to see or we want to convey yung edge ng something. So unlike siguro nung nasa una, malalim yung contrast, I also want to give lang yung konting hints of emphasis sa edges niya pag magkaroon ka ng stronger colors. So never be too afraid of using strong colors when it comes to your subjects na light. Since ang magiging emphasis niya, parang lumitaw siya, is yung talaga values ng painting. The leaves can be improved by the same thing. Siguro pag dinagdagan natin ng contrast, mag-pop out siya for this one. So, it also depends upon the paper na ginamit ng artist for her work. So, meron pa siya, pwede pa itong improve. But But again, ma-apply din natin siya sa mga darating nating works. Ano po? I hope she also signed up for the workshop. Matututunan niyo po, papakita ko po yung mga paraan na yun sa darating na lesson. So, for that one, yun po ang aking feedback. Dito naman, ang aking lang concern dito is yung color selection for this piece ng leaf. This one is a sap green and medyo warm yung leaf yellow, green yellow. So for this one, yun na nga po kontra yung color ng green and sana well there's nothing much we can do about this since it's almost natapos na. But in the future, siguro yun ang pwede natin gawin for this one. Yung color selection niya ng florals, this is really good. Ano po?
Mm.
Dito, ito yung sinasabi kong green kanina, pagka-green. Mas cool siya tingnan. Fit siya sa color ng rose. And kahit medyo parang cobalt yung background niya, yung pagka-blue nitong side na to, harmonizes well sa kulay ng floral natin. For this one, ang maganda siguro dito is yung lagyan natin ng konting smoothness o yung parang elongation ng leaves natin. Huwag masyadong geometric kasi dito medyo geometric na yung shape ng kanyang dahon eh. So bigyan natin ng konting smoothness and roundedness ng leaf for this piece. And I can see na maging drastic yung effect na mangyayari for this um, for this rose. Kahit hindi naman siya katulad ng akin, kailangan lang mukha siyang convincing na yung leaf na to is from the rose itself. Maganda rin yung contrast ng kanyang background, mas dark dito sa ilalim kumpara sa taas to give nga yung emphasis dito sa leaves. So sana, yun lang ang masasabi ko. Ito, yung nasa bottom part kasi na leaf na to na nakikita natin, yung pinakamalapit na sa ilalim, sa may tabi ng stem, yun yung nakikita kong magandang, dapat na parang shape niya with the rest of the leaf na nandito. So, I'm happy for color selection sa leaves yung nakikita kong improvement for this one. Ano ba masasabi ko dito? um, I like the colors. Tama siyang, tingin ko napaka-accurate nung colors na napili niya. Almost same sa akin. Dito lang, she painted lang yung background natin na ano na makikita natin yung meron tayong mga lines kasi ng background eh. So, alam ko kasi na gusto rin niya makuha yung background na smooth yung transition, hindi lang siya basta white kasi medyo boring tingnan kung white lang yung background kadalasan eh. Ang process kasi natin when it comes to watercolor is to try to paint yung lightest valued color first when it comes to watercolor. So she could have just applied a continuous wash sa background para hindi na tayo problema yung parang namumuong mga overlapping part na iniilagan niya yung shape ng bulaklak. Tingin ko kasi pinanghuli niya yun eh. Kasi yung red o yung orange na to, mas malalim yung tonal value niya kaysa dun sa background. So okay lang na patungan niya yung lighted part na kung in-apply niya ng wash. So for that one, yun yung magiging ko lang feedback. And yung mga sa sign up din sa ating workshop, yun din yung i-introduce ko sa kanila sa darating. Yung priority ng application of color. So, nandun na rin yung kanyang, meron na siyang foundation and skill. Tingin ko yung improvement lang is yung mga approach natin sa kung paano natin ina-execute minsan yung particular piece of watercolor painting or yung painting natin. So, yung tip ko lang sa kanya yon. Pero itong work niya, nakikita ko na meron talaga siyang magaling na talaga siya. Meron na talaga siyang way of doing her things. And for this one, yun lang yung makita ko improvement for this piece. Maybe next time pag naggawa siya. Ito, isa rin to sa mga favorite ko because malalim yung tonal values niya. And she opted to use yung mas dark na background compared dito sa ating sa subject. Nakita ko na lang na magiging improvement dito is yung nasa malalim yung parang base ng bulaklak. Mas malalim kasi yung kulay nun eh. So, ang fear lang niya siguro dito is to use a darker base color since naging malalim na yung tonal values niya. Dapat nilaliman niya na rin yung colors nung ilalim ng bulaklak, yung mga parang base before sa edges. Pwede siya siguro mag-add ng more dark red like maroon, then add mo dito sa parang red-orange color para mag-darken yung ilalim, para magkaroon na siya, ma-maximize na yung contrast between yung um, each petal nung rose. So, yun lang. Ito din, nakita ko na they have done the same thing na parang inuna nila yung subject before the background. There is no, it doesn't hurt to do that. Yun lang, magiging trick lang natin is yung pag-avoid ng mga shapes and yung subject natin when you want to paint the background. Dito kasi, nakita ko na ginawa niya for this for the rose petals, piece by piece ginawa niya yung kulay segment by segment. Meron kasing natural stroke ang paint natin that when you do a particular kind of stroke, maglilib siya ng malinis na corners, especially do sa mga bottom part ng base ng flowers. So, for me, meron siyang control, may control, alam niya ginagawa niya sa paint. Yun lang, yung sana mas bold yung application niya at may confidence para mabuo niya yung stroke na malinis ng kulay sa mga for each petal. Tingin ko kasi ginawa niya dito wet into wet, and then yung isang segment basa siya, tapos they will drop the colors. Nothing wrong with that. Yun lang, kailangan lang niya na maging confident pa, not to fiddle around with the paint too much kasi nag-e-edge, naglaline sa edge yung mga paint kapag ganun, pag masyado mo siyang ginagalaw-galaw. Okay. Dito, masyadong light yung kanyang colors. I don't know if she has some other brands na ginagamit, pero pwede pa niya kasing ma-improve to when we adjust this one. Yung tonal values kasi, pinaka-important sa mga painting natin. Pwede kasing mas matingkad pa yung kalabasan ng ating colors for the rose. And yung ating green, medyo yellowish siya. Mas babagay dito yung green ng pagkadahon niya is yung leaning towards blue. So, more contrast din dun sa mga stems, mga like brown, dark browns, orange, dark oranges, para makuha natin yung deep contrast with the white or light background. Since light kasi yung ating background, dapat mas mapalitaw natin yung contrast when it comes to our subject. So, yun po yung nakikita ko improvement sa kanya, yung choice ng color, at saka yung contrast nung piece natin, yung confidence in applying yung malalim na colors for this particular piece. Ito, maganda yung color niya, nung pink talaga, pagka pink, malapit to doon sa ginawa ko. Same thing din, tingin ko ang kulang dito yung sa stems naman, mapapadilim pa niya ito para magkaroon siya ng contrast, para mapapalitaw pa niya. And also yung edge ng rose, doon sa parang base niya, yung cup niya sa ilalim, dapat mas malalim yung color niya. So, mas pure color, mas malalim yung makukuha niyang edge from the bottom tapunta doon sa outer edge ng leaf. Yan yung nakikita ko for this one. Yung greens din natin, medyo muted siya. Siguro gumamit siya ng parang earthly yung pagka-green. Mas maganda sana kung mas natural na dark bluish kind of green ang ginamit niya dito. para mapalitaw yung contrast. So, yung harmony kasi ng choice ng colors natin ang isa rin sa magandang aspect na titingnan natin pag nagpipaint tayo ng particular subject. Yun lang ang masasabi ko para dito. Ito yung sinasabi kong contrast ng color. Makita natin madilim yung stems niya. Yun yung nagustuhan ko. Yan yung contrast ng stems. So, tama yung application niya dito. Ang naging problema ko, yung gitna nung bulaklak. Brown ata yung ginamit niya. Pwede na namang gumamit na lang siya nung pink din para yung contrast mas buo. Kasi yung brown, hindi yun yung natural na kulay nung shade or yung shadow color ng mga pink na rose like this one. Pero alam niyo yung ginagawa niya, yung wet into wet, yung smooth na background, yung parang smooth na transition ng leaf at saka ng edge ng mga stems. She knows what is yung kung kailan i-leverage yung moist na paper para makuha yung particular effect. So, for this one, malaking thumbs up sa pagkakagawa niya doon. So, yun lang ang feedback ko sa kanya, yung ginamit ng shadow color doon sa gitna ng mga rose. Sana ginamit na rin niya medyo strong color na red or pink para nag-unite siya. Dito, um, medyo flat yung ano niya, yung mga petals niya. Dapat yung gitna niya mas malalim. And also, yung same thing, yung bibigyan natin ng contrast. Ang ano kasi nito, kailangan ma-practice niya yung amount ng water at paint mixture sa brush niya para makuha yung effect na yun. So, pag nalaman na niya yung tamang, kasi more paint and less water, mas buo yung color. Kadalasan sa nakikita ko kasi, yung mga nagbibigay ng watercolor, medyo takot doon. Ganon din ako nung nag-umpisa ako, takot ako mag-load ng malalim na paint. Pero yun ang magbibigay sa kanya ng ganda sa work na to. May improve pa to. Hindi pa to, I can see na in the future magagawa niya rin yun and ma-execute niya to ng tama. So, I hope ma, tawag ma, ma-pick up niyo kung ano yung ibig kong sabihin sa pag-control ng amount ng paint at saka nung um, water sa brush para makuha yung contrast. Kasi itong stem, do sa isang rose na sa upper left, tama yun eh. Medyo mas dark na ganun. So, hopefully, ma-apply niya rin yung concept na yun. Dito naman yung kanya namang mga, yung parang greens ng mga leaf. Masyado naman siyang blue. Dapat lagyan natin ng konting green, hint ng green. Pero I don't know if ito talaga yung gusto niya since maganda din naman yung harmony ng color, yung choice of colors niya. Hindi siya too far from one another. Yun yung masasabi ko. Maganda yung color choice niya for this particular piece. Cool. But again, yung contrast, sana makuha niya. Ma-apply niya rin yung technique ng mas strong yung loading ng color. For this one, they also have share the same thing. Siguro yung contrast din no sa stems, by yung orange kasi to mag-load sila ng mas strong na color para makuha nila yung dark tones doon sa rose part. Yun din yung end and start ng color ng base natin mas malalim shadow para lumitaw yung petals ng rose na nakikita natin. I don't know kung ito na yung size mismo ng papel niya. Masyado kasing di balance. So, siguro bukasan natin ng konti ditong excess sa left side. Masyadong open dito. Konti lang. Masyadong nawala lang sa balance yung kanya. Pero, igit na pa natin, ibog pa natin ng konti sa center. Anyway, pwede na makasing madaan sa framing yun. So, yun lang yung feedback ko. Ito yung magandang contrast. This one, mas red lang yung choice ng color niya. Siguro dun na lang sa leaves, yung mas maganda pa. Like kung paano niya in-execute yung petals, mas smooth ng konti. Siguro pwede siya nag-play along with the imagination, this imagination, para mas makuha niya ng maganda yung color or yung shape ng mga leaf. Kagaya ng pagkakagawa niya dito sa mga petals ng rose. I'm happy for this one. Maganda yung kanyang rose, yung colors niya kahit hindi kagaya ng sa akin. Muted yung kanyang selection. Ito pala kay Ma'am Suklin, same dun sa usta kong naging feedback, yung kasing choice ng kanyang color dito, medyo peach na orange. Yung green, medyo bluish siya. So, hindi siya masyadong tumutugma dun sa color ng rose. Tapos, pwede pa natin palalimin yung color nito for this one. Para magkaroon ng contrast. Since mas light yung mga ano niya, yung mga petals niya dito eh. Tingin ko pag nagawa niya yon, kahit yung background, i-forgo na niya yung light na background. Bigyan niyo na lang ng contrast like a negative painting dark. Okay na okay to. Ito, ang kanyang effect dito, medyo loose yung style ng application niya ng paint, no? The same thing, okay naman. Yung pataas, pwede natin i-give yan na light talaga since parang nagfe-fade siya into the background. Doon lang sa bottom, dito, yung negative painting style, dito natin bigyan ng konting contrast pa doon sa edges ng leaf para mabigyan natin ng emphasis yung ilang shapes dito sa rose. Yung colors niya, I like how she chose the color, yung harmony ng color niya, okay din siya. Yun lang, yun yung nakikita kong feedback for this one. Kung titingnan ko tong painting na to, alam ko na marami na siyang experience sa pagpe-paint. And born out yung style na to a particular way na inadapt na yung sa style niya sa kanyang painting. Kaya ang masasabi ko, wala naman akong makikita na masyadong idadagdag niya. Pero kung gusto niya explore yung wet into wet painting para hindi masyadong distracting sa background dito yung mga strokes ng brush, pwede niya rin gawin yon. But overall, alam ko marami ng experience tong gumawa nitong painting na to. Magaling na to. Maganda yung kanyang roses. Binigyan niya ng emphasis yung isa lang sa gitna dahil yun yung gusto niya magkaroon ng focus. Then some hints dito sa background sa taas for that one. Alam ko magaling na to eh. May particular style na siya ng pag-work.
Alright, ang dami nun na. Thank you, Emman, for being patient in evaluating all of the PGW members' works. And I learned a lot also just listening to your critique. I hope, Kasining, you also enjoyed the critiques because this is how we grow and how we improve as artists. So now it's time to reveal who is the winner and the artwork that reigns supreme. Ang mananalo po ay magkakaroon ng gift from our gift box Inc. That's our true Neve and Daniel Smith. So here we go. Sir Emman, do the honors.
Sige po. So, ang aking pong artist choice ay kay Ma'am Cynthia Nectarina. So, this one was my choice. Actually, nahirapan ako mamili sa mga ating challenges na ginawa po natin yon. But ultimately, I can only choose one. For this one, kaya ko siya nagustuhan is, although this is not entirely the same colors that I have chosen, yung kanyang color harmony and execution of the petals are really wonderful. And yung kung lightness ng colors ng background. And there is yung balance ng choice of colors. So, overall, I'm very pleased with the outcome of this one. And it leaves little room for improvement as I take a look upon this piece. So, para sa akin, ito ang aking choice for this particular challenge and particular piece po. Pero I'm so happy po for the others who also joined. And unfortunately, I can only choose one. Para again, siguro sa mga darating, para happy tayo, bigyan natin ng pagpupugay pong artist na to. And I also evaluated the other works before I chose this one of the others. Talagang tinignan ko yung difference ng kanilang output, for this particular challenge with their usual style. And I'm actually impressed with a lot of people who joined. They give their best for this particular challenge. So nakakatuwa po. Maraming salamat to those who joined the challenge for this month of November. So for my choice po, ito po kay Ma'am Cynthia Nectarino itong particular watercolor piece rendition niya. Meron siyang choice of colors and I like the way that she executed yung floral piece.
Congratulations, Cynthia, for winning this challenge. At napakahirap sigurong mag-decide kung sino ang mananalo because
Yes.
I've seen a lot of very good works. And I also noticed that you are fond of flowers. So please join our Paint Along workshop on November 28th so you will know the secret of Emman in all those floral rendition and level up your floral game, mga kasining, by joining us. And it's flashed on screen how to join and the registration fees as well. Thank you, Sir Emman. And this session doesn't end also in this Paint Along workshop. We also wanted to invite our viewers to, and if you have friends, please invite them to our PGW. Our Facebook is Philippine Guild of Watercolorists, and you can also follow us in Instagram page Guild of Watercolorists. And once again, thank you for the partners that have been supporting us. Giftbox Inc., Daniel Smith, Neve, that's our true. Okay? But before we end, Sir Emman, you might want to give your parting words to our viewers.
So, I once again want to thank sa ating pong viewers and for you, to you, Ma'am Pinky, for everyone who is involved behind this project sa Kwentuhan series po natin. And let's enjoy ourselves with painting. And once again, I hope to see everyone on our workshop po. And please, you can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, the Watercolor Universe channel, for some updates po sa watercolor. So magkakaroon po yan ng content from time to time. Thank you.
Thank you, Emman. Once again, this has been Pinky Peralta. Thanking all of you for joining us today. And I leave you with a reminder that though life may beat you down, choose to find your joy. And in this time of pandemic, God has given us this joy, this passion of watercolor. So let's enjoy it. See you next month.